your affirmations are clearly not working. And honestly, I've never believed in affirmations. I just felt that they were bullshit or they didn't work. They just make you more delusional. But I could never figure out why they don't work or why they're actually not something that makes sense to me. It's only after reading it in this book that I realized that why does that happen? It happens because we are not addressing the issue. For example, if someone is extremely insecure, they need to first accept that they're insecure and then work on that insecurity instead of just waking up and chanting, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. That is not going to work for you because you know that you're lying to yourself and you don't have the courage to see the insecurity right in the eye. Like for me, affirmations are like if there is a pile of shit and you're putting ice cream on top of it, eventually you will have to deal with the shit or you will taste shit, you know? So when you deal with the part that you're trying to get rid of, that is called shadow work. And shadow work is very important because if you don't deal with the main issue, you will not be able to inculcate the habit or the traits that you're trying to inculcate. Now, before you start shadow work, you have to accept that your personality today that you have is basically a shell that is meant to protect you. And if you want to be at peace with yourself, first you have to understand that why this shell was built in the first place. For example, you must have seen that the funniest people always have the saddest lives, or usually have the saddest lives. And they develop humor to kind of deal with sadness in their lives, right? But if they look the sadness in the eye, if they look their story in the eye, that okay, this is what happened to me, this is what my life has been, then they will just let go of that armor that is draining themselves. Because sad people also have this thing in my mind that if I express my sadness too much, or if people around me get to know that I'm always sad or I'm always struggling, then they will not like me. So that's how they develop a sense of humor. But that humor is also taking so much energy from you. You are never at peace. You're always under this pressure of being the life or, of being funny. But it's not doing anything to you. It's not working out for you. It's eventually draining you. So if you just accept that, your life is sad and maybe work towards it, then this mask or this protective shell, you'll be able to let go of it and then be at peace with yourself. And there are numerous examples for this, right? There are like sad people are usually funny. If someone's trying too hard or they're always smart, they're acting Mr. Know-it-all, they're afraid of being called or perceived stupid. So it's always coming from something that is there. Like if someone's trying to be overly confident or overly project themselves, that is also because they're highly insecure. They're never at peace with themselves. The idea of doing shadow work is to accept your whole self so you can be at peace with yourself, right? That is what it means. And once you own your shadow self, there will be less repercussions, there will be less consequences in your life. Because if you own your anger, or if you accept that you're an angry person, then there will be minor lash outs, or you won't be having bursts of energy because you would have accepted that you're an angry person and then you will be working towards taming it rather than just in anger, I'm not angry, I'm not angry, I'm not angry. You understand what I'm saying? The issue is that if you look, it's like facing your fears. If you look them right in the eye, they don't hold a power over you anymore. That is the same thing with negative self, the same thing with your shadow self. That you just have to look it in the eye and then you'll be over it. Everything that you know about yourself will be shaken when you start doing shadow work. That is the reason most people can't do it because their ego gets in the way. Your ego is shaken when you're trying to see the parts of yourself that you don't want to see, the negative parts. Then all your protective shell is shaken because everything you know about yourself, you have to confront it and then let go of it to become whole. And that is why people find shadow work much more difficult than just repeating some affirmations in the morning and getting on with the day. Affirmations are not going to help you. You just have to look what is the problem right in the eye and then deal with it. And I'll tell you two ways how you can do it. One is a mirror exercise. You stand in front of a mirror and then you repeat what you hate about yourself or what you're trying to avoid. Like if you are jealous and you're trying to get rid of that jealousy, instead of sending that person good energy or anything like that, just look yourself in the eye and accept that I am jealous, I am jealous, I am jealous, and When you repeat that, you will realize that that trait is somehow losing its power. You will realize that it is not a defining trait. The kind of energy that you're putting into defying that, it is draining you. So if you look it in the eye, if you accept it, then it loses its all power. You will just get over it, kind of like, even if I'm jealous, then what? It's human to be jealous, and then you let go of that feeling, of that draining energy thing that is draining your energy, and you let go of that trait. And I'm pretty sure when you meet that person the next time, there will be no jealousy. Second exercise is a little bit fun. Like, if you're dealing with your anger, instead of just calling it anger because it is very intimidating, you can just name these, like Angry Alice, for example. And when you name them, you can just write a small letter to them that, you don't own me anymore, and I know that you're there. And it also has to have a sense of compassion, that letter, because anger is also protection. When your boundaries are invaded, that is when anger comes up. So if you build stronger boundaries in life, then anger will not be a part of your personality. That is how you look into your shadows and then accept yourself wholly. The idea of accepting yourself wholly is important because that is the only way that you will be at peace. If you don't accept yourself wholly, then you will not be at peace. Just a recap of this video is that affirmations don't work because you are not dealing with our shadows. We have to deal with our shadows because we have to be our whole selves. Our whole selves are important because that's the only way that we can be at peace. The only thing that is standing in the way of your whole self and your peaceful self is your own ego. When you deal with your ego, you look your negative traits right in the eye, you get over them, and that's it. That is shadow work explained for you. Now, in the end of the video, let me just give you one small takeaway. That one small takeaway is a story. In 1950s, there was this big old Buddha statue that was cracked by accident, and it has been worshipped for hundreds of years. Everyone thought that it's a stone statue. One person had the courage to get into that crack, and what they found out was that there was a gold statue inside. And the reason was that to protect the gold, again, we are using that thing, to protect the gold inside from the invaders, from the other kingdoms, they had covered it with some kind of coating. So when that shell was broken, gold was revealed. That is what shadow work does to you. It is a beautiful thing to reveal your own golden self. And I hope this story serves as a reminder to you that why is it important? Why is it important to look your fears in the eye and, face your shadow self so that you become whole and peaceful. If this was a good takeaway, subscribe to my channel. All the information that I've given in this video, I've taken from the book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ryan. And this is the second part. I post weekly reading updates of what I've read in the week. And if this is something that interests you, hit follow, hit subscribe, and see you next week.